Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikita and I bring useful tips and tricks that can help you take a step closer to the industry. In today's video, I will be sharing more about a session which I did with 20-30 participants, including a mix of freshers and working professionals who wanted to update their resumes to make them highly impactful statements. So, if you are someone who wants to design their resumes into highly impactful statements that can help you stand out in the crowd, then this video is for you. By the way, through the workshop, I have answered many of the common questions that participants had on their minds. So, if you have similar questions, then I encourage you to stick throughout the video to make sure you don't miss out on the quality information. By the way, this workshop was for more than 2 hours. So I will be dividing this video into 4 parts. So ensure that you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on the important updates where I will be sharing more such videos to help you draft high quality impactful resumes. Without any delay, let's get started.
All right, cool. I think we should get started. We have most of them who had registered and wanted to keep this a very limited group conversation. Otherwise, it's just like a coaching institute which gets flooded with people and it's difficult to interact. I'll start with an intro first and then we can get into the actual topic. Uh, I assume you all know me, and that's how you registered for this workshop. My name is Nikita. I am the technical program manager for the Google search program. I enjoy helping people, and that's why this is something I do in my free time. And I believe you all are connected with me through my YouTube channel, and that's how you discovered about this workshop. Um, I don't want to make it very formal, and the idea is to make it very interactive, but just to keep us on track, I had prepared some slides. So I'm also going to present something while I talk to all of you. But a few ground rules during this session. Firstly, let's try to make this as interactive as we can. You can ask any questions that you have on top of your mind, except for referrals. Not here to give any referral. So if you come with that expectation, please feel free to take an exit now itself, because that might disappoint you towards the end. The second thing is keep the decorum very friendly and open. What may be an obvious question for you may not be for someone else. So please respect every question that is coming in. And for those who have questions, please do not hesitate asking those, because you never know, there might be 5 others right now who may have similar question and may appreciate you asking that question. So please be open to the discussions, use the chat space as required, and feel free to engage by unmuting yourselves. If you can, once again, a friendly reminder, please turn on your cameras. I am not going to judge you for how you appear on a Saturday afternoon. Even I am in my pajamas, so don't worry. Please feel free to turn on your cameras if you're comfortable. And yeah, without delaying this further, because I have so much to cover in today's session, I am going to get started. But before that, I hope you all are ready for this workshop. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Nikita.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, Nick.
How many of you heard this common saying that I have repeatedly said in various forums? Maybe you've read this somewhere else as well, but a quick show of hands, how many of you heard this fact that recruiters spend not more than 6 to 7 seconds scanning a resume before they decide that they want to move on with the candidate or they want to not move on with the candidate? Okay, I see a couple of you raising your hands. Maybe 50% of you have heard this fact, which is a good number. For those of you who don't know, recruiters get through so many resumes every day, and their idea is to not understand the candidate in and out, but they just want to know if the candidate is a good fit for the given role, and soon they can help that conversion happen for their organization. So your resume is your first impression, and that is your key to get in the company, at least get that interview chance so you can talk more about your skills, your experience. And hence your resume is your first impression, and how you crack that really matters, because even during your interviews, your hiring managers, your interviewers will have access to your resume. So they definitely will ask you questions based on your resumes. They'll definitely make an impression about you with your resumes, and hence that's your first step to success to getting into any organization. Now, here are a few things that I plan today. First is the resume fundamentals. Second is, because this is a hands-on workshop, we'll craft each module together. We'll write those impact statements together, and then lastly, with designing and formatting, we'll then get through peer reviews, and then you can also get your resumes reviewed with me. And in the end, if you have any questions or any topics that I did not cover, then feel free to ask those towards the end as well. And that's not it. I will also share some tips on how you can present yourselves on LinkedIn. What tips that I have, because I have got my first job role via LinkedIn itself. I can share some tips about making your LinkedIn more appealing and impressive for your interviewers. Okay. Now, this may be a surprise for some of you, may not be a surprise for some of you, but there are 5 common mistakes that I have seen as I've reviewed so many resumes in the last couple of years. Especially in the last 1 year, I have reviewed at least 30 to 40 resumes. And while I reviewed those resumes, these are the 5 things that struck me. The first one is generic objective. Now, for those of you who have their resumes already with you, the first copy of your resume, how many of you have written that you would like to work in a dynamic organization or something in similar lines? Like, you like to work in a fast-paced organization, but how many of you have actually done that? Just be honest, just trying to understand how many of you still use those common lines, copy pasting from your friend's resume or something on the internet. Okay, we have at least one honest person in the room. Yeah, thank you for calling that out. Yeah, we have 2 honest people in the room then. So thank you for being honest. Ideally, when you start with your objective or your summary, right, it has to be about you, why you should be hired for that particular organization, what skills you have, and why you are a good fit for the organization. In the subsequent sessions, I will tell you a formula that I particularly use that makes me write a strong summary about myself. But right now, I'm just going to call out the mistakes, and then we can talk about how we could improve those together. Second one is duties versus achievements. And trust me, not just freshers. I've seen people with decades of experience doing this. Most of them end up saying, you were responsible for some great work in the organization, but you miss quantifying it. And most importantly, you miss specifying what was your contribution to make that happen. Some of them just write, I helped the organization get 1 billion revenue. Were you the only one who did that? What did you do to get that 1 billion revenue if you are a part of the team who made 1 billion revenue in the last 1 quarter or so? So most of them miss talking about their contributions, and they talk about the amazing startup that they are a part of, the amazing project that they built in their organization. But nobody talks or impresses the recruiter talking about what achievements you have made as a distinguished professional in the organization. Third one is poor formatting. With the internet growing so much, there are so many forums, websites where you can get amazing resume formats, but trust me, not all of them go through the ATS. So ATS has specific barriers, and that limits screening a bunch of applications. For example, ATS is not friendly with a lot of rows and columns. So if you're using a lot of those or those fancy templates that you get online, maybe the ATS is getting hallucinated and it unfortunately rejects your application. Fourth one is obvious. I assume you all have spell checks on your editors, but for those who don't, spelling and grammar makes a lot of difference, and a small typo can cost you a lot. The next one is generic resume. So you craft that final version of your resume, and you end up using the same resume for every other company that you're applying. Now, That's not how you would be getting shortlisted for a specific role, because every role is having a unique expectation from the candidate that they are trying to hire for. And unless the candidate with specific skill sets and the job description actually perfectly match with each other, generic resumes, even if it was your final version of your resume, it is not going to help unless it's a perfect match for the given role. So every job role you apply for, you need to tailor your application so that it helps the recruiter and the ATS and the hiring manager understand you are the perfect candidate that they are looking for. Now, a lot of times you may not have the exact skills that a job description is asking for, because obviously you cannot have all the skill sets, and every job description requires demands for different types of skill sets. However, what you need to do is have transferable skill sets. For example, in a particular role, you did project management, you did technical program management, but the objective was maybe just to help a community grow. But as long as you can showcase that the community building activities that you did were be able to translate it into project management and then technical program management. How you would do that, I will talk about examples in the subsequent sections. But as long as you're able to show you have transferable skills, that itself is a good win for you. And that's exactly how I transferred from a community manager role to a technical program manager role at Google. I'll share more about my experience, how I applied this in my journey, and then you can take some tips if that really helps you. Okay, now, coming to the topic, there are mainly three resume formats. One is chronological. Mostly people use this, where you actually start with your most recent experience and then that follows with your oldest experience. The second one is functional. Now, here you would focus on the skills you have, or if you have gaps in your career, or if you're switching fields, then functional kind of format actually works. And the third one is hybrid. Hybrid is a combination of chronological and functional formats. How many of you are freshers here? Okay, we have 4 freshers in the room. All right, that's a good. For those of you who are freshers, I recommend using the functional format. For those who have some experience in the industry, you can go with the chronological format. All right, now let's just take a pause. I want you to just use the chat section and share currently how do you feel about your resumes. One word that describes currently how do you feel about your resumes. Nobody wants to share how you feel, or you're still thinking how you feel about your resume. Okay, packed with information, quite good, confused, it won't stand out in the crowd, average, generic, okay, impactful, couple of domains, quantified with impact as well, ATS friendly but generic. That should be okay if it's ATS friendly but generic. Messy, good, placed it well, but not sure if that is in the race. Okay, mixed. Pushpendra, what do you mean by mixed?
I feel it's good, but even I apply for the same role, I have to change the resume for each of the job description.
Right,
It
yes.
aligns
And that's the trick
same when I go.
actually.
Yeah.
No matter how much you feel that this is the best version of your resume, unless you're customizing it as per the job description, it really doesn't help. All right. I think most of you shared how you feel about your resumes. Lakshdeep, you don't want to share how you feel about your resume? Sorry, I'm picking names here, but the idea is I want each of you to interact. Chaitra, Harshit, Yajvi. Cool. Let's get to the next topic of the discussion. Nicely formatted, but mix of domains. Okay. Now, the first thing about ATS, what really works with ATS? So, I was actually talking to one of the recruiters in my organization, and what they told me about ATS was, firstly, mirror the language exactly that is there in the job posting. So, if the job posting says that they want someone who has knowledge about, let's say, um, project management, then don't say you know program management. Even if program management is a broader category of project management, use the exact same words that are there in the job description. Literally use the same words. Don't be creative. Don't ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude to give you some other words for the same like same adjective. Exactly mirror the language. Second is use precise keywords from the job description. For those of you who watch my regular videos regularly, you may have seen in one of my videos I've called this out, that use the exact words from the job description. So when you look at the job description, maybe just run a prompt. If you're not able to understand by yourself, just copy that job description link and put it in your like any AI tool you're comfortable with. Use Gemini, use ChatGPT, use Claude, or anything else you're comfortable with. But just say, help me understand the keywords from job description perspective. So this prompt really helps you get those keywords. And based on that, on a blank paper, literally write those keywords first and then fill in the blanks with your experience. Third thing is avoid generic terms when specific ones are requested. What does this mean is, most of you said your resumes are generic, which is okay. But if you want to, like, stand out, then don't just add those regular things, but another candidate from your organization or your college may be writing in the given manner. Avoid those generic terms because you want to show how you are a little different than the other candidates who are standing in the same pool. So avoid those type of generic words. Now, there is a difference between keywords and generic terms, and you might be like, what is that generic term you're referring to, and how is it different from the keywords? Now, generic terms are basically where you say achieved something, to do something. And keywords are very precise, which means they are looking at software development, front end development, full stack developer. Those are the keywords that you definitely need to use if it's mentioned in the job description, and that cannot be changed. But accomplished, achieved, maybe you can change those words unless specific ones are requested. We have a question in the chat box. Can we use the Chrome extensions which helps you find exact keywords? Obviously, yes, you can also use Chrome extensions if you think that is helpful for you, but I avoid adding a lot of Chrome extensions because that makes my laptop heavy. I just use one of the AI tools and then I get those keywords defined for me. Now, matching job posting language helps ATS understand your qualifications well. So if you want to get through that stage of ATS, the key is literally using the same words from the job description. And thing is, avoid using tables, like I already mentioned, rows, columns. ATS is not very comfortable scanning through images, tables, rows, and columns. It's a simple parser. So if you are making it complex for it to horror through different lines of your application, then it will stop at a particular point and it will not get full context of your application. One common table is fine. At least I use one common table inside which I dump everything so that the margins are well maintained from left and right. But beyond that, don't add more rows and columns inside it. Now, I hope you all have joined on your laptops because I'm sharing this checklist with everyone, and I want you to actually scan through this checklist to see in your resumes what points you've covered and what you haven't. Nitin, that will be like end of session if I show you what an example resume looks like. And I think I have a video on YouTube where I've shown some good examples of sample resumes and I've linked it as well. Are you all able to follow this link, or you want me to like paste it in the chat section?
Can you paste it in the chat?
I will paste it. Yeah, just give me a minute. I hope you all can access this link. Okay, let's just take quick 1 minute to do a quick check of what all is there and just score yourselves against all those checkpoints. Don't request edit access to the sheet, make a copy for yourself and then score against that sheet, otherwise it will get messy. This is the sheet that I'm referring to. At 12:33, we'll just take a pause. If you're done like completing this checklist before that, please let me know, but you have another 4 minutes to complete this checklist. Yes, Umair, I have another slide which will talk about tools that you can use to draft your resumes. I'll share those in the subsequent slides.
On the 35th line, there is one sentence, no headers or footers used for important info. What exactly does that mean?
Keywords from the job description are present in the resume. Sorry,
No,
I
35th, 35th.
35 you're saying, right?
Yes. So I just wanted to understand what exactly does it mean? No headers, footers for important info.
Yes, just a minute. Okay, so 35 is no headers or footers used for important info. So basically, in your resumes, your headers is your own information, like your name, your contact information, that is header, and footer is mostly where you talk more about your tailing information, which means any achievements you want to talk about, or some people also talk about education in the end, but they use headers and footers for that.
Headers as in specifically mentioning that education section is this and then followed by the bullet points. You mentioned
No,
that.
headers is like contact and header, like full name, professional
Okay,
email address, phone numbers.
got it. Yeah.
Okay, anyone done with the scoring? A quick show of hands if you are done. We still have 2 more minutes for those who are scoring themselves. And I don't want to pressurize who are still scoring themselves. Please take your time. We have another 1 minute for those who are on their way. Yes, Pushpendra, please ask your question.
Sorry, no question. I was just saying like I'm done with the
You're
slide.
done. Okay, okay. Dhanvantri is a very optimistic person and they have scored themselves as 30-31. Okay. Anyone who has done the scoring and then you are above 30? Yes, Vanshika, are you above 30?
No, I wanted to ask about the 36th point. I did not understand that.
Okay.
The format of the file.
File saved as .docs or ATS friendly PDF. So .docs file is not parsable for many ATS. So PDF is recommended. A lot of people use even different, like Umair was saying, you use LaTeX. A lot of people just save using .lax extension and they end up using PDF extension to save their resumes. So is your file
Uh,
saved as .pdf?
My yes.
Then give a score, like just check that you've done that correctly. Okay, so Pushpendra has scored himself 34, pretty generous, I would say, pretty generous scoring. Vaibhav was given 31, again generous. Umair is being too harsh with himself and scored 18. Monisha 30. Dhanvantri, you're referring to, but mostly refers docs. Oh, were you saying for the PDF, it refers to docs? Saving your resumes with docs extension is not recommended because a lot of people open your resumes on their phones and that time itself as well, it's difficult to open resumes on phones with docs format. So PDFs are best, works with any machine, and then, it doesn't play around with your formatting despite the screen resolutions. Tanishka has given herself 28, Vanshika 29, Lakshdeep has given 34, Atharva 29. Okay, good. I think this is a good activity. I hope you have scored yourselves from understanding where you are and where you want to be, because ultimately nobody wants to miss out anything in their resume, especially if it's your dream company. You don't want to hear that you had everything, but your resume was not enough to get through that particular organization. So even if you are generous with yourself, you scored yourself 31, 34, you still have couple of more points, like 6 points, 7 points to reach that 41 benchmark. So I hope you got some insights on what you have been missing out while you're drafting your resumes. All right, 24 updated. Okay. Yes, Annie, I can share the link here, but I would encourage you to follow the session from here so that you don't miss out on the following topics. You can catch up on what you missed later on.